तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ओम तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and today we have to read the conversations of Monday, April 12, 1886. We know the context. Thakur is in Kashipur, and Swami Vivekananda, Mahapurush Maharaj and Advaita have returned from Buddha Gaya, and Dr. Sarkar is now and then in conversation with Thakur. These are the running context. And in the previous thing, Thakur was in presence of all the devotees. He was going on talking with Narendra Nath. Rakhan Maharaj intervened and said, "No, it is enough. Let Thakur have some rest." Now we read about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the bed in his room in the Kashipur garden house. Shashi and M were with him. He asked M by sign to fan him. There was a fair in the neighborhood in celebration of the last day of the Bengali year. Oh yes, April 12th. Last day of the Bengali year, or that Bengali year is a solar year with solar months, and in the Vaishakha, their first month is Vaishakha, and that is after the Rashi change, Sankranti, in the middle of April. Normally, 14th April is the start of the Bengali year, but sometimes 13th, sometimes 15th also. This time it seems it may be on the 13th, because on the 12th April, we are informed that celebration for the end of the previous year. A devotee whom Sri Ramakrishna had sent to the fair to buy a few articles returned. Thakur, "What have you bought?" the master asked him. Devotee, "Candy for 5 pies, a spoon for 2 pies, and a vegetable knife for 2 pies. So he tells along with the prices, and that is 1886, remember. Now these prices are non-existent. Even 1 or 2 rupee coins they do not accept. Master, but Thakur had told him something specifically. So he is asking, what about the pen knife? He has brought a vegetable knife, but what about the pen knife? Devotee, I couldn't get one for 2 pies. Master eagerly, go quickly and get one. So whatever may be the price, you should bring that because it is something essential. Tarak, no. M was pacing the garden. Narendra and Tarak returned from Calcutta. They had been They had visited Girish Ghosh's home and other places. Sir, we have eaten a great deal of meat and other heavy stuff today. Now, Mahapurush Maharaj was normally a vegetarian, but on special occasions or in company of Narendra Nath and in Girish's house, he has eaten meat. So, they had no restrictions of the moral or spiritual type about what food is to be eaten. That is an important lesson we have discussed many times, that eating meat does not deprive one from realizing God. Absolutely not. It has become little more important currently because some fool of a Vaishnava told that Naren ate meat, Thakur eat fish, so they can't be realized person. So such becomes the narrowness of the mind in particular sampradaya. That is the only lesson. And they have got their replies already by many people. So we understand you may or may not eat anything, but don't think that this thing will not allow you to grow spiritually. It depends again on the constitutions. Those who are habituated, they cannot be hampered. Those who are in very high position, they also cannot be hampered. Narendra, yes, our minds have come down a great deal. So that also they accept, that eating meat or eating heavily bring the mind down. But in Girish's house, they did that. And they're frankly admitting it. Let us practice tapasya. So that is Narendra's solution. If we practice deep meditation now, we can get rid of that mind downward flow and we'll go up immediately. 2M. What slavery to body and mind? We are just like coolies, as if this body and mind were not ours, but belong to someone else. Like coolies struggling only for stomach and the body is being exhausted, like that has become our condition. So he is ready to criticize his own position. That is the most important objective lesson in spiritual life. Don't go on supporting every time. And he's not doing that. In the mind and body belongs to someone else. It is not under our control. In the evening, lamps were lighted in the house. Sri Krishna. So that was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Now it is evening. In the evening, lamps were lighted in the house. Sri Krishna sat on his bed facing the north. That is Master Maharaj's description for our visualization. He was absorbed in contemplation of the Mother of the Universe. Thakur had no effect of cancer on him. A few minutes later, Fakir, who belonged to the priestly family of Balaram, his actual name is Yageshwar Bhattacharya. He is nicknamed as Fakir, and he was very dear to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna had taught him how to chant some of the hymns, and Sri Ramakrishna liked to hear hymns from his mouth. So here we find recited the hymn of forgiveness addressed to the Divine Mother. That is, Devi Aparadha Khamapana Stotram. Devi Aparadha Khamapana Stotram is the name of that stotra. There in Bengali, Pragdehastho Yadasam Tava Charana Yugam Nashrito Narchitoham Tena doha. Tena de akirti vargair. Garjatha, garja, gar, of. Let me read properly. Tena adya iha kirti vargair jathara jatharaja dahai naiva nay jatharai jathara nairvadha mano barishta. Oh, I'm fottering. I'm fottering, not able to get the sandhis properly. And in English, even the meaning is not given. Sthitva janmantare no punariha bhavita kashraya tvapi seva क्षंतव्यो में पराद प्रकटित वदने कामरूपे कराले इत्यादि. So it is asking for forgiveness from the Divine Mother, because in the childhood, due to certain difficulties, he could not chant her name. In young age he could not, in old age he could not. So he is asking for being forgiven. That spirit we can understand. Shashi, M, and 2 or 3 other devotees were in the room. After the recital, Sri Ramakrishna, with folded hands, very respectfully bowed to the deity. So Thakur could easily visualize or experience that directly, and there he has bowed down. There is no deity in front of him, but through this stotra he could feel, and he has bowed down. M was fanning Sri Ramakrishna. The master said to him by signs, "Get a stone cup for me that will hold a quarter of a seer of milk." A poya, 1/4 of a seer. White stone. He gives very specification, because he drew the shape of the cup with his finger. Drew means in the air itself. M. Yes, sir, master. When eating from other cups, I get the smell of fish. He did not want that smell. By other metallic cups, that even the black stone cups absorb that smell. So he has said white stone. Very specifically, he has instructed, he knows things of the world. So we pass on to Tuesday, April 13, 1886. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning. M had spent the night at the garden house. After taking his bath in the Ganges, he prostrated himself before Sri Ramakrishna. So near the Kashipur house was the ghat where one could take bath in the Ganges. Ram had just come. It is after the bath in the Ganges is customary, and he has saluted the Guru. Ram had just come. He saluted the master and took a seat. He had brought a garland of flowers which he offered to the master. Most of the devotees were downstairs. Only 1 or 2 were in the master's room. Sri Ramakrishna was talking to Ram. Master, how do you find me? Ram, in you one finds everything. That is what Ram had found. Presently, there will be a discussion about your illness. So Ram thought with Girish that Thakur has feigned that illness for some purpose of his own. But if he wills, he will come out. And so, when people discuss about that illness, taking it to be a physical illness, he is irritated because of his wrong understanding. So, he is bringing that topic. Presently, there will be discussion about your illness. The master smiled and asked Ram by a sign, will there really be a discussion about my illness? Anyway, Sri Ramakrishna's slippers were not comfortable. Dr. Ajendra Datta intended to buy a new pair. Footnote tells us these slippers given by Dr. Ajendra are now worshipped at Belur Math, the headquarters of the Ramakrishna Math and Mission. So we are informed that by the editors, Dr. Ajendra Datta intended to buy a new pair and had asked for the measurement of the feet. The measurement was taken. Sri Ramakrishna asked them by a sign about the stone cup. M at once stood up. He wanted to go to Calcutta for the cup because last night he had slept there only. And it is 8 o'clock in the morning. Master, don't bother about it now. M, sir, these devotees are going to Calcutta. I will go with them. So he has found some easier way to go. So he is going and will bring that cup. M bought the cup in Calcutta and returned to Kashipur at noon. He saluted the master and placed the cup near him. Sri Ramakrishna took the cup in his hands and looked at it. Dr. Rajendra Datta, Dr. Srinath, Rakhal Haldar, and several others came in. Rakhal, Shashi, and the younger Naren were in the room. So, two Rakhals you find here, Thakur's child Rakhal, devotee, and Rakhal Haldar, doctor. And there we are not directly informed that he is a doctor, but he has come with the doctors. The physicians heard the report of the master's illness. So they seem all to be. Dr. Srinath had a copy of the Gita in his hand. So he was a doctor, but he seems to be interested in Gita or the Vedanta. Dr. Srinath to his friends. Everything is under the control of Prakriti. Nobody can escape the fruit of past action. This is called Prarabdha. So he's showing his knowledge about the Vedanta, about the Prarabdha Karma, which is a fractional knowledge. It is not full knowledge. If you refer to Gita, it's in the 18th chapter, it is said, Anishtam Ishtam Mishram Cha Trivida Karmana Phalam Bhavati Atyaginam Pretya Natu Sanyasinam Kvachit. So, three categories are named there, though one is not spoken of. Those who are not tyagis. Tyagi means karma phala tyaga, karma yogi. If he is not even a karma yogi, if he thinks I am doing this karma, then he has to suffer the whatever good or bad or mixed karma he has done, he has to bear its fruit. On the other hand, if he is a sannyasi, if the consciousness that I am the doer has been passed over, he has transcended that, then only it is got sannyasi in the Gita. So if he is like that, natu sannyasinam kvachit, absolutely no touch of that prarabdha karma to the sannyasi. Gita is telling that. But he has found some other reference in the Gita about this prarabdha karma. So he has not fully read Gita or assimilated it. And that is what Thakur will point out. With the help of Gita is talking like that. Master, why? If one chants the name of God, meditates on Him, and takes refuge in Him, He wanted to complete the sentence. So I was telling three categories. In between is the category of a tyagi. Not tyagi, he has to bear full fruit. Sannyasi, no fruit. Then in between, what happens to the sadhak who is a karma yogi and he has grades of how much he has gone beyond the I am the doer consciousness. It is in grades. So we can understand why the Lord has left that there, as per his progress, lesser and lesser karma pal will bind him. This is the mathematical finding. Below this, all effect. Beyond this, no effect. In between, there is a gradation that Thakur is pointing out now. Thakur is telling, if one chants the name of God, meditates on Him, and takes refuge in Him. Now, this taking refuge will be in grades. There can be final taking in refuge, then it will lead to no fruit. And if he chants the name of God and meditates on Him, he is a sadhak. And he will get less and less according to his progress. But Srinath, doctor, did not allow Thakur to complete the sentence. Dr. Srinath, but sir, how can one escape prarabdha, the effect of action performed in previous birth? So he is calculating according to Vedanta. And Gita, as we found in the 18th chapter, taking everything into consideration as taught that he has not taught. And is harping upon perhaps he wants to tell Sri Ramakrishna that your sickness is due to such thing. Master, no doubt a man experiences a little of the effect. So very clear. As per his progress, lesser and lesser is the effect. So some little effect he may bear. But much of it is cancelled by the power of God's name. A man was born blind of an eye. This was his punishment for a certain misdeed he had committed in his past birth. And the punishment was to remain with him for 6 more births. He, however, took a bath in the Ganges, which gives one liberation. This meritorious action could not cure his blindness. Another thing, the moksha will not cure physical blindness, but it saved him from his future birth. So practically, so he will not have 6 births. This birth lasts, and that also one eye. So that is Thakur's direct example. Must be about a known man. So he is not talking in air. Dr. Srinath, but sir, the scriptures say that nobody can escape the fruit of karma. So what does it mean? Dr. Srinath was ready to argue with the master. So he has his own understanding and he has wrong faith in his understanding. And so he wants to argue. No, master is not in a condition to argue now. Master to M. Why don't you tell him that there is a great difference between the Ishwar Koti and an ordinary man? So Ishwar Koti has universal consciousness. And Ishwar Koti cannot commit sin. Why don't you tell him that? So he cannot commit sin. So he will not have any bad action result. Prarabdha in Vedanta, Shubha Vasananam eva anuvrutti bhavati or Udasinava, Udasinatva. So about the Jivan-Vikas, Vedanta describes that only the momentum of good works will remain with him, or he may be Uda indifferent or beyond that. clearly. But Dr. Srinath's knowledge is half-cooked knowledge. And so is arguing. And Thakur is telling him through Master Masha, because Master Masha has understood everything about many things about Thakur. So Thakur wants him to reply. But Master Masha is not only shy, but is afraid of contradicting that doctor or a so-called Vedanti. So M remained silent and then said to Rakhal, you tell him. Rakhal is a Ishwar Koti. So Master Masha says, you tell him. Nobody seems to have replied. After a few minutes, the physician left the room. Sri Ramakrishna was talking to Rakhal Alda, that one who came with the doctors and he has remained behind. Haldar. Dr. Srinath studies Vedanta. He is a student of the Yoga Vashishta, a book on Vedanta. Yoga Vashishta Ramayana is the full name of this book. In that, Ram is a student and Vashishta is teaching it. Vedanta, that through stories mostly, that is Yoga Vashishta. Master, a house, now Master is telling Yoga Vashishta is a book on Vedanta and Dr. Srinath is an householder. A householder should not hold the view that everything is illusory like a dream. He is committing actions, including sex. And how he can say that the world is unreal? So it will be hypocrisy in his mouth. It will be saying or Buddhi telling something and actual life telling something. Referring to a man named Kalidas, a devotee said, he too discusses Vedanta, but he has lost all his money in lawsuit. So another devotee is pointing out what mistake comes by a householder discussing Vedanta. Master smiling. Yes, one proclaims everything to be Maya and still one goes to court. So he has lost his money in lawsuit. So why should he go to court when everything is Maya? To Rakhal. Mukherjee of Chennai too talked big, but at last he came to his senses. So different with different man. He also talked, but by Thakur's company or otherwise, he has changed. But at last he came to his senses. If I were well, I should have talked a little more with Dr. Srinath. He could not talk because of cancer, and so he wanted others to tell. Can one obtain jnana just by talking about it? That is the main point. Haldar, you are right, sir. I have seen enough of jnana. Now all I need in order to live in the world as a householder is a little bhakti. The other day I came to you with a problem on my mind and you solved it. Master eagerly, what was it? Haldar, sir, when that boy, pointing to the younger Naren, came in, you said he had controlled his passion. So the problem he has not told directly, but through this, that is it possible to control all passions? Because you told that boy is to control all passions. That seems to be the problem. Master, yes, it is true. He is totally unaffected by worldliness, that younger Nare. Unfortunately, he married and his householder life was not successful, was very troublesome for him. He was very, very pure and he should never have married. He is totally unaffected by worldliness. He says he doesn't know what lust is. Such a pure boy. To him, just feel my body. All the hair is standing on end. Just to think of somebody's purity, Thakur's body standing. The joy produced and his hair is standing on end. The master's hair actually stood on end at the thought of a pure mind, totally devoid of lust. He always said that God manifests himself where there is no lust. That is his human and code. Rakhanaldar took his leave. So Rakhanaldar was satisfied. He got the answer to his problem. Yes, it is possible. He has no lust, and Thakur also experienced that joyfully. So all this has convinced Rakhanaldar, and he has gone back. Same day still continues. Sri Ramakrishna was seated with the devotees. A crazy woman had been troubling everybody in order to see the master. Why was she crazy? She had assumed toward him the attitude of a lover. Madhurva, the attitude of a lover and beloved. And Thakur, because he wants to set a high standard of purity of relation between man and woman, had not responded as much as he could have. We do not know inside what was in his mind, but outside he never responded. And yet she could not stop because her attitude was not wrong. That is the crazy woman. She had assumed towards him the attitude of a lover and often ran into the garden house and burst into the master's room. So that craze, that intensity of the mother wow, in spite of people stopping, checking, she straight away used to go to Thakur's room. Blessed was she. She had even been beaten by the devotees, but that did not stop her. Blessed is she. The devotees being afraid that she is troubling Thakur, and they were all future sannyasis. They could not even catch this mother bhav. And so they beat her. And she did not care. See what intensity and purity of mother bhav she had for Thakur. She will never come to grief. Shashi. Shashi was one of those. Niranjan and Shashi, they were the main in stopping people from going to Thakur, beating and all that. Shashi, if she comes again, I shall show her out of the place. I shall push her out of the place. Master tenderly, no, let her come and go away. So Thakur does not want this. She let her mind be fulfilled. He may not respond, but let her come and go away. She will feel quite happy or satisfied by seeing Thakur also. That is that mood. Rakhan, at the beginning, I too used to feel, now there is an element in this of jealousy. And Rakhal Maharaj remembers this. His jealousy was a child jealousy. We do not find that she is showing jealousy, but perhaps the other devotees are feeling jealous. And that is why Rakhal Maharaj is telling, at the beginning, I too used to feel jealous of others when they visited the master. But he graciously revealed to me that my Guru is also the Guru of the universe. So he is a universal person. One can never particularize him as mine only. That is a great lesson. If God is there, if a man with universal mind is there, universal personality, he has infinite sides to show to people. At the same moment, he can show different relations to the different sadhakas. And so, one should not find fault with anybody for harboring any type of relation with God. Has he? But he graciously revealed to me that my Guru is also the Guru of the universe. Has he taken the birth only for a few of us that we should check others? Rakal Maharaj understood this point. Shashi and Niranjan only Guru Seva, Guru protection, so they have become harsh. Shashi, I don't mean that I don't want to disturb her faith, but why should she trouble him when he is ill and she is such a nuisance? Because he creates all these problems. And he is sick. Raka, we all give him trouble. Did we all come to him after attaining perfection? Haven't we caused him suffering? Rakarmaji is feeling all that. How Narendra and some of the others behaved in the beginning, how they argued with him. So even he is telling about Narendra, not criticizing him, but to gain spirituality, they argued, and so apparently it was trouble for him. Shashi. Shashi is a Narendra Bhakta. He finds that argument is wrong. Whatever Narendra expressed in words, he carried out in his action. So his argument was not only argument. Whatever he spoke, he was in action. Such a sincere person to remove his doubts or difficulties will argue. That is his argument. So between them, they are arguing, quarreling apparently, finding the truth to these arguments. Raka. So he talks about Naren now. How rude Dr. Sarkar has been to him. No one is guiltless if it comes to that. But Thakur has borne Dr. Sarkar's every problem and has converted him. So like that, we should not check any other's attitude towards Thakur. That is Rakal Maharaj's impression. That all of us, while growing, have given trouble to him, but through that only we have grown. Master to Rakal tenderly, will you eat something? So he's only showing affection to Rakal. Rakal, not now, later on. So, like mother, he is solicitous only. He is sorry about his food, hunger, and all that also. Sri Ramakrishna asked them by sign whether he was going to have his meal there. There means in Kashipur. Rakhal to him, please take your meal here. He is asking you to, he is asking a question, but Rakhal Maharaj thinks that is a hint that you should take. Sri Ramakrishna was seated completely naked. That was another problem. They did not want that crazy woman to come. But in her mind, it will not be any disturbance. That one should understand. And for Thakur, there is no body consciousness. So it is usual for him to sit naked. Sri Ramakrishna was seated completely naked. He looked like a 5-year-old boy. Just then the crazy woman climbed the stairs and stood near the door. She was afraid of entering, but stood near the door. M in a low voice to Shashi, asked her to salute him and go away. So, up to that, let her do. Don't make any fuss. Shashi took her downstairs. So, Shashi asked her to go, and she has gone. It was the first day of the Bengali year. Have you crossed over the date? Yes, we already crossed over the date. So, April 13th is the Bengali New Year that year. It was the first day of the Bengali year. Many women devotees arrived. They take that to be the most holy, auspicious occasion. Especially on that day, they should receive God's blessing or visit holy places. That is the custom. So, many women devotees arrived. They saluted Sri Ramakrishna and the Holy Mother. Among them were the wives of Balaram and Manomohan. They always used to come freely. And the Brahmani of Bazar, that Belur Math. Several of them had brought their children along. Holy visit on a New Year's Day. Some of the women offered flowers at the master's feet. Two young girls, 9 or 10 years of age, sang a few songs. So Thakur has blessed kindness. He does not distinguish between man and woman. He does not want them to mix with each other for their safety, but individually, he is not akin. He is not against the ladies coming to him who have found in great master many such examples. The girls, 9 or 10, sang a few songs. First they sang, we mourn for rest. That is that Lalita Vistar song, Buddha's life song, Vairagya song. We mourn for rest, alas, but rest can never find. We know not whence we come, not nor where we float away. Time and again we tread this round of smiles and tears. In vain we pine to know whither our pathway leads and why we play this empty game play. We read this song fully, and so we catch the spirit that aroused Buddha, and he decided to leave the home. Then they sang another. That is a Vaishnava song about Radha. There comes Radha, and there see your Krishna with arching eyes and the flute at his lips. So, love song between Radha and Krishna, the devotional song between Radha and Krishna. And finally, O tongue, always repeat the name of Mother Durga, who, but your Mother Durga will save you in distress. So, they have versatility about the deities, about Buddha's Vairagya, about Gopi Krishna, and about Durga. All they have sung. Sri Ramakrishna said by saying, that is good. They are singing of the Divine Mother. So last song he appreciates. The Brahmani of Bagbazar had the nature of a child. Sri Ramakrishna told Rakhal by saying to ask her to sing. The devotee smiled as the Brahmani sang. She was not known to be a singer, but Thakur, because of her childlike nature, Thakur wanted her to sing, to express the ideas in mind. That is important. Huh? Oh, from everything, like small or big actions, we are getting hints, advices on spiritual life from Thakur. Oh, Hari, I shall sport with you today. for I have found you alone in the Nidu, one of the forest in Vrindavan. So I found you alone there, so I will play with you. That is also a Gopi song. The woman devotees went downstairs. So now all of them went down. It was afternoon. M and a few other devotees were seated near the master. Narendra came in. He looked as the master used to say, like an unsheathed sword, that full of fire of sheath, full of the zest for knowledge. That is how he had come from Buddha Gaya. Narendra sat down near the master and within his hearing expressed his utter annoyance with woman. At that mood, that is what happens. Utter annoyance with woman. In presence of Thakur, he said like that. He told the devotees what an obstacle women were in the path of God realization. So see, every sin, Thakur is kind to the women. But as a sadhak, Naren is annoyed and is showing what difficulty it brings for a sadhak, real sadhak. In the path of God realization, Sri Ramakrishna made no response. He listened to Narendra. Otherwise, he would have said, yes, 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 no, no, no. But here, Narendra's side is correct. And Thakur has shown kindness, that is also correct. So, he does not express. Narendra said again, I want peace. I do not care even for God in the personal sense. Peace going beyond everything. That is what is anchoring. Sri Ramakrishna looked at him intently without uttering a word. Now and then Narendra chanted, Brahman is truth, knowledge, the infinity. From Taittiriya Upanishad, it was a pet thing with the Brahma Samajists also. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. And that Naren is so much filled with that. That is now and then he chanting like that. Now, gap. It was 8 o'clock in the evening. Sri Ramakrishna sat on his bed. A few devotees sat on the floor in front of him. Surendra arrived from his office. He carried in his hands 4 oranges and 2 garlands of flowers. Now he looked at the master and now at the devotees whether they would permit him to offer those garlands or mangoes to the master. So he's looking at Thakur and also to the devotees. Master said, exact objective description. That is why we take this as Veda Vakya. He unburdened his heart to Sri Ram. Surendra, looking at him and the others, I have come after finishing my office work. I thought, what is the good of standing on 2 boats at the same time? So I finished my duties first and then came here. Today is the first day of the year. It is also Tuesday, an auspicious day in the worship of Divine Mother. But I didn't go to Kalighat. I said to myself, it will be enough if I see him who is Kali herself and who has rightly understood Kali. Both. He has rightly understood Kali is Kali herself. That is his faith. That is his experience. So he has come to visit him. He has clearly stated his life, conscious. Sri Ramakrishna smiled, accepted. Surendra, it is said that a man should bring fruit and flowers when visiting his guru or a holy man. So I have brought this. He is like explaining to the master, I am spending all this money for you. God alone knows my heart. Some people feel grieved to give away a penny, and there are people who spend 1,000 rupees without feeling any hesitation in other matters. God sees the utter love of a devotee and accepts his offering. So he has poured out his heart. Sri Ramakrishna said to Surendra by a nod that he was right. Surendra, I could not come here yesterday. It was the last day of the year, but I decorated your picture with flowers. So that special day, both. Sri Ramakrishna said to him by saying, ah, what a devotion, by saying. Surendra, ah, I was coming here. As I was coming here, I bought these two garlands for 4 annas in those days. Almost all the devotees took their leave. The master asked them to stroke his legs and fan him. So no further description of what happened to those garlands. And we have finished the description of that day. We pass on to Friday, April 16, 1886. The moon was shining brilliantly, flooding the garden path, the trees, and the water of the lake, which is white rays. Two lecturers in Kashipur were read that Girish M. Latu and a few other devotees were seated on the steps leading to the lake. The house stood to the west of the lake. A lamp burnt in the master's room on the second floor. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on his bed. Night, na? There were several devotees in the room. A few minutes later, Girish and him were strolling along a garden path lined with flowering plants and fruit trees. How beautiful this moonlight is. Perhaps nature has had the same laws from time out of mind. Time to time, many times, infinite time, nature has their own laws. So Master says nature is a poet's nature. And that is why he's talking like that to Girish. Girish, how do you know that? He wanted logic for that. How do you know that nature has repeated this always? M. There is no change in the uniformity of nature. Accepting this, we can understand. European scientists have been discovering new stars through the telescope. There are mountains on the moon. They have seen them. So all that confirms that nature is similar everywhere. Girish, it is difficult to be sure of that. It is hard for me to believe it. Girish has his own logical understanding and why the mountains have been observed through the telescope. Moon's mountain. Girish, how can you be sure that they have been rightly observed? Suppose there are other things between the moon and the earth. So many causes can combine to produce some effect. That is Girish's argument. Seeing some data, we cannot conclude. Light passing through them may conjure up such visions. That is his argument. Narendra, Rakal, Niranjan, Sharat, Shashi, Baburam, Kali, Jogin, Latu, and a few other young devotees had been living at the Kashipur garden house in order to nurse Sri Ramakrishna. That evening, Narendra, Kali, and Tarak had gone to Dakshineshwar. They were going to spend the night in the Panchavati meditating on God. Thakur had directed them to go to Panchavati. They thought Beltala, but Thakur did not rather. Girish, Latu and him went to Sri Ramakrishna's room and found him sitting on the bed. Shashi and one or two devotees had been tending the master. Baburam, Niranjan and Rakhal also. Now the Leela continuation is going to happen. That is why Master Maharaj has described. Or the devotees also. Normally also described, but now we find them all in service of Thakur. It was a large room. One Shashi and one or two devotees had been tending the master. Baburam, Niranjan and Rakhal also entered the room. It was a large room. Some medicines and a few other accessories were kept near the bed. One entered the room by a door at the north end. So it's described, visualize, we can see. Since Sri Ramakrishna had to be tended all night, the devotees stayed awake by turns. The devotee who tended him fixed Sri Ramakrishna's mosquito net and then either lay on a mat on the floor or spend the night sitting up, describing their service. Since Sri Ramakrishna got very little sleep on account of his illness, his attendant too slept very little. Thakur's sleep was already very less, and now due to sickness. That evening, Sri Ramakrishna was somewhat better. The devotees saluted the master and sat down on the floor. The master asked him to bring the lamp near him. He greeted Girish cordially. Master to Girish, are you quite well? To Latu, prepare a smoke for him and give him a bitter leaf. We'll continue this tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday. We'll continue this on Monday from here. Om Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadasatam Bhuvi Brunanti Ye Bhurida Jana Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.